Hi, this is Dr. Dammann again. This is part 2 of our video with some tips of how to try to navigate this difficult time. For those of you who didn't get a chance, I'd recommend you watch the first video if possible, because it has some of the background and will give you some important tips leading into what we're going to talk about today. And that moves to number 3, physical space. I think, I was just talking about emotional space. It's going to be important, I think, to be mindful and respectful of the need for physical space too, especially if we're cooped up. This is a good time to reconnect with family if that's your situation. But there can also be too much of a good thing there, and so I think everybody's going to need their alone time, their downtime, and I think we need to make sure that everybody's getting that, and again that's respected. We don't have to all play a game every night or watch a movie together or whatever it is, if that's not what the person needs. Fourth, I think it's critical to try to find some way to feel empowered yourself and your family members, and find some things that you can control in this. As I said, one of the hardest parts of this is how out of control we all feel. But there are things we can do to feel empowered. This is a good time, I think, to try to give back in some way. Find some charities that will be helpful. If you're able to do it, can you deliver food to elderly neighbors or family members or whatever it is. But do things to help you feel some sense of empowerment in this, and that's a good way to not get overwhelmed with just how disempowered we often feel. The fifth thing is to, other than family or whoever you happen to be living with, is to stay connected with the wider world as well. This, I think, is a good opportunity to maybe reach out to old friends you haven't talked with in a while. And obviously technology is very helpful in this, through FaceTime and Facebook or whatever. But also, the good old-fashioned telephone. But this is a good time, I think, to reconnect with people. One caveat there is, I think, back to the contagion of anxiety, I think it's critical in those reaching outs to maybe try to limit the time that we talk about the stressors in this. Not that we're going to avoid it completely, but maybe focus more on, reminiscing about past experiences together, or even imagining what are we going to do together, when this is all behind us. Number 6 is to keep up with or add anxiety-reducing techniques. This is really critical now because I think all of us, even those of us who feel relatively calm, let's say, all of us are dealing with a new normal in terms of a baseline level of stress and anxiety. And so our systems are kind of ramped up, and it's important physiologically to do some things to try to turn the engine down a little bit. And again, this is going to be unique for everybody. For some people, yoga might be the thing. For others, it might be meditation. For others, it might be lifting weights at home, taking long walks in the woods if you're able to. But whatever it is, it's critical to incorporate that as a way on the physical side to take care of ourselves. And then finally, I think to try to find some way to grow through this, to find the opportunities that are here. Obviously, we're confronted every day with the losses in this, and they are significant and potentially overwhelming. But for many of us, there are some opportunities here too. For people who are working from home, oftentimes, we're not quite working the hours that we might have been working at in the office. If we're not commuting anymore, we might have a little extra time. So this is a good time to try to, again, grow in whatever way you want to, but that can be picking up a new hobby. There's a lot of free online classes now, learning a language, whatever it is. But again, as a way to feel at least somewhat empowered and in control of our lives, and that we can find some good out of what's otherwise obviously a very tragic situation. So basically, in summary, I think the challenge is to try to control the things you can control and then find a way to let go of those you can't. And maybe most importantly, keep some perspective on this. Obviously, this is a very frightening time, and it's going to remain that way for the near future. But, this too shall pass. And at some point down the road, some sense of normalcy will likely come back, whatever that looks like. And it is important for us to try to remind ourselves of that when we start feeling overwhelmed by everything that's happening. So thanks for listening. Everyone stay safe and take care.